The final chapter on JFK, Chapter 19, Segment 6, The Brain.
Welcome back to Chapter 19, Yes, No, or Maybe So. This segment is the brain. Whose brain? John F. Kennedy's brain. And it has been missing since about 1966. And with that brain missing, that key piece of evidence has not been available to scientists and forensic medical pathologists to research and to study and to determine if any parts of that brain, particularly the size of the brain and the metal fragments in there, as to whether there was a conspiracy with the brain itself, or perhaps some other type of bullet was used, pointing the way to a conspiracy itself. We are going to examine what happened to that brain. If Kennedy's brain had not gone missing, someone would have been able to examine that brain and weigh it and determine whether or not it weighed the 1,500 grams that Kennedy's brain supposedly weighed several days after his autopsy. And of course, having the weight of almost an average adult male's brain before it had been blown up. And if Kennedy's brain had not gone missing, it would have been able to be examined in greater detail for the fine, milky bullet particles that were shown in the x-rays of Kennedy's brain. And perhaps some of those particles might have even been able to be removed and examined to determine what type of metal they came from in terms of bullets that were fired, and to determine whether or not those fine metal particles might have come from some type of hollow point bullet or other types of expansive ammo. There is speculation by the Warren Commission members or single bullet proponents or soul assassination believers that J.F. Kennedy's brain, which was last recorded to be handled by JFK's former physician, Admiral George Berkeley, that the brain was somehow given to the Kennedy family, Robert F. Kennedy, for burial. That would be a miracle because, just like before Kennedy's assassination, it was even worse after Kennedy's assassination. Lyndon Baines Johnson and Robert F. Kennedy hated each other. And it is very doubtful that Johnson would turn over John Kennedy's brain to his brother so his brother could have other people look and examine the brain for additional clues. The most likely scenario is that John F. Kennedy's brain went missing for a reason. And it went missing because people knew that the brain could still hold secrets. Kennedy's brain would have helped us, after the fact, try and reach a clear conclusion as to his death. But of course, like the limousine, like Conley's clothes, they end up destroyed or missing. Now, I can't prove that Lyndon Johnson was behind getting rid of Kennedy's brain, although it was significant to him that it was gone. His medical doctor was the last person known to be handling it, and the missing brain occurred during Johnson's administration when he still had power in Washington, D.C. So, of course, Kennedy's brain unfortunately falls into the yes, no, or maybe so category with, in my opinion, leaning towards the fact that, like many other things, Lyndon Johnson was involved. With that said, I'm going to see you in a new chapter coming up soon.